Hi guys, welcome back to Kit Car Direct and MK Sports Cars. This is just rocked up. You probably recognise this car. We built it over the last sort of year for the customer. And the good news, it's all road registered now and on the road. And he's finally found a dry day. His number plates came through the other week to get the opportunity to go out and give it a bit of a blast. He's going to be trying to get some road miles on it now. Ready for, well, it's next season really now, isn't it, for track days and things like that. So you might get the odd opportunity like today where it's a bit drier. But yeah, he's tearing up the roads and it's going really well. And like all these things, just a little few checks over here and there to get some testing done on it, get some road miles. But absolute weapon, that CBR1000 RR in here, as you know. May have seen it quite a few times. Goes like an absolute scolded cat. Yeah, really nice build, super clean. Changed some other bits on it. I know he's put the indicators in the front a little bit differently now, and he's going to do some personalisation on the car over the next sort of winter months really for the project, but get it all dialed in ready for track season next year. And hopefully if you guys are out there joining us some track day events, when it all kicks off again, then you'll see Ben tearing up the strip with it. So yeah, great looking car, love the sky blue, nice colour that. Cool, we'll head on in the workshop and see what's been going on in here. Right, on with the R1 Indy Classic here, Max's car. We finally got the prop shaft in about an hour or so ago. Had a few issues with the prop shaft we noticed. We didn't come in for that actually. Come in for some electrical upgrades which we showed you the other week, which was the dash, the steering column, the push button gear, push button indicators, lights, horn and flash thing, etc. all on the Bluetooth. But we noticed when we was taking the tunnel off all the electrics, prop shaft was completely loose. The centre bearing had gone, so we had to send that away, get that sorted out. So we got that in the last hour. Clutch it was in for, so we've got all the clutch back on here. All the clutch plates have been soaking. We think they're completely dried out, and that's the problem. So now just dry day. We'll get this back on the ground, and we'll get some testing done for Max and give him an update, and hopefully get it back to him as soon as possible. Then, so yeah, all the Digi-Dash in. We showed you last week on that. That's all in now. So now I know he got the 2 clocks and he's going to make his own dashboard as we said the other week. So everything else he's hooked up, the race column in there, one piece, getting rid of all of the shroud and the standard Sierra stuff that was on there. So yeah, so we'll give Max an update once we do that. But pretty confident with the clutch with what we've done now. So we'll crack on with that. Right, so Indy R1 again. This is the RX-5 version, the Mazda version. So Indy Classic 5EY versus the newer, updated version of the round tube, Mazda based, same engine though, 5EY engine. So it's the latest version here. We've got the radiators now fitted, it's 42mm. We've got the oil cooler just to go on the front, which goes on our standard mounting kit there. Front brakes you see is all on. That's that. So if you've got Mazda guys, and if you haven't got a, so we do full brake upgrade kit for this. So we use a standard Mazda vented front disc, but then we make all these adapters, machined up, etc., to make the wheelwood caliper. So if you've got another brand car, I don't know, Westfield, M&R or whatever, you're looking to upgrade your brakes from your standard ones rather than going aftermarket in other ways, then but this is only for the smaller brake kit there. I know there's plenty of kits out there for the big brake kit, but if you want to run a standard, which is these more than ample for these cars, then we do all this bracket and wheelwood brake book kit. So that's all fitted there. We're going with solid discs on this. It's only an R1 engine in that sense, so we don't need much more than that, but you can do cross-drilled and grooved and those vented as well, so we do that as well. So we cracked on with that, we fitted that. We've also got the rears on, they're standard disc as well, and also we fitted the diff in now as well this week. That's just got with the last bolting bits to do on that. That's a 3:6 ratio. So it's a Mazda 3:6 ratio with the R1, gives you about 120, mid 120s mile an hour wise, depending on what tyre and aspect ratio. We're only going to be running 185s probably on this, 13-inch wheels with 60 profile tyres. So it should give us just about 120, 122-ish mile an hour. Car's going to come in some 450, 460 kilos. So it'll be a nice little, nice little fast car, quite rapid. But yeah, that's the Mazda versus where you would have had in the back of here. Cameraman and zoom in, this would be like your forward setup, which is the old classic one, you spin round, and that's the forward setup that would have been in there. And that's again, you can see that's a 3:6 it's written on there actually, 3:6 written on there. That's basically the best ratio really for that engine. You can go taller, but it just kills the engine's performance if you try and put a 338 in there. It just hasn't got enough torque in the engine to deliver that. So you want to keep the high RPM, because these are what, 13,750 or something RPMs they spit out too, so pretty nice. Yeah, and this has got the same, which we showed, which is Max has got on his, the same. So with the Bluetooth for the indicators, high beam, horn, etc. We've got there's the little Bluetooth mechanism on the back. B&G quick release boss on it as well, with a paddle shift. So basically you've got everything in one go here. We've got all the paddles, changing gear, indicators, horn, all nicely neat and tidy in one little package on the steering wheel for you. Which, you know, if you feel comfortable in the car and it's all at your hand and fingertips, you go fast automatically anyway. It's 10% more power, that is, definitely, 100%. So yeah, silicone hose kit's done now. We'll show you that next, well, hopefully it should be next week, but in the next week we'll show you that all mocked up for the silicone hose kits for the R1, all being plumbed in, etc. And we'll get you the hoses, and there'll be kits that you can then just buy off the shelf, ready available, and it fits, you know, the right lengths and things like that. So yeah, they'll be saying blue, I think we're going blue on this one for whatever reason we are. So we'll show you that once it's dialed in, and then the clutch cable actually while we're there. But we have a clutch mechanism because these are cable rather than hydraulic. So all the Mazdas S2000 run hydraulic clutches, boosters run hydraulic clutch, and then it's an adapter that converts that basically that motion that you get from the hydraulic pedal into a pendulum, which then basically pulls the cable. So a little mechanism, nice and easy to fit into there, and we'll get that mechanism dialed in over the next week as well. So move on. Right, so S2000 Classic, been on with this as well this week. As you can see, a few bits here. Front wishbones were on, but now we've got the uprates on. We've got the cross-drill groove solid discs in here. They're 10mm with the Willwood kits all on. Braided hoses on. Steering rack's on. Just got to finish with the gaiters. Steering rack extensions is on. Top ball joints obviously in there as well. Then we've been on the back here. We've got the new flanges. So these are 28mm spline. So if you've got a pushing shaft, 28 spline. These are all machine new. Brand new part. I think we've still got them on the shelf. We've got 27. We do 27 for the lab roads and 28. So I think we've still got a couple of these on the shelf. But if not, we can make them to order. It's no problem. So they're all brand new components on there. The whole rear end's gone in pretty much now, as you can see. So suspension's on, rear upright, which is the disc version.
This, the disc version?
Yeah, you have this bracket on here. It sits at an angle. So normally when you've got drum, it's 4 evenly holes on it, not angled up. This is then designed for our caliper bracket to mount onto the rear Sierra caliper. So this is disc version, and it will be totally square if you've got the upright, which is standard. Oh, thanks, Joseph. There you go. There's the difference. Oh, sorry, Cameron even. Look, there we go. You can see the two different versions there, drum versus disc. And then what we have is, so these are billet bearing carriers again, it's a brand new machine component part. Once this item slots on, you then have the disc adapter that bolts in at the same time onto there, and then the caliper will bolt onto the back of that. I can whip that bearing out, slide that over for you, show you. Once that bolts up into there, the caliper then mounts on. So these are disc adapters that we have laser cut that goes on with the billet bearing carrier with new bearings, all machine. We do them in 60mm for your pushing shaft. We do a 68mm one as well for the Labro one as well, which is available. Then we move on to the rear. The diffs in, all new drive shafts, fuel tanks, a custom made fuel tank for this is for S2000. So not many S2000 classics out there, as you know. I think it's 1 or 2 have been done, but they didn't have any fuel tanks. There's a custom tank made with a fuel pump which is mounted here. So a big 255 per litre hour fuel pump, and then it will come off of here with 2 fixings. We've got a 12mm and an 8mm feed return here, and that will go into the fuel pump as well. They give you an idea. And it's all mounted in the top here. Fuel sender for the ETB Digidash will come in, and then this goes out obviously to your fuel filler cap. So the whole back end's gone together really much now, braided hoses in, etc. as well. So that's looking nice and clean and tidy as well. Fuel tank straps in. Again, something a bit different that normally the classics, it's all bodged. It used to be, they didn't really have a fix for it, to be honest with you, but you know, it's mounted in, riv nutted into the chassis here and here, nice and strong fixing, not going to go anywhere. The tank's nice and solid as well. I think that's 40, just over 40 litres that one was, so bit bigger. S2000 is a bit more juicy than a bike engine sometimes, so slightly, it's a road car, so it's a bit more long range for him as well. So cool, when we move on. Right, so Richard's build, Mazda based, so it's the RX-5. We've been on a few bits on this week as well. I think the handbrake lever's in as well now. It's all fitted in, new cables, everything else, whole mechanism in as well. Going to the back of the car, fuel tanks in now, it's made. They are standard and they come with the swirl pots, all fitted in as well under here, same as you saw in the S2000, but the feed on these we do with a standard Mazda pump. So the standard Mazda pump is here. Let's wiggle that one out. So yeah, fitted with a standard Mazda pump. It comes out, you don't MX-5, etc. So it has the pickup. But what we do is we used to cut and shut and weld these, which we have done on this one, just to show. But we now make the laser cut bracket that basically sits into there and then gives you the correct angle, and you rivet it in. So it will give you the correct angle that you need to fit your pump. So it's all in one unit there. That goes back in. It's all a welded on boss that goes in. Then once the tank slots, the pump slots back into the tank, nice and easy. We obviously use standard Mazda gasket, that'll go in there, and that's the whole unit all done. So fuel senders in there for your standard clocks, or we'll rig it up with a digi-dash on this one, etc. And you've got fuel return and output on those. Fuel filters in, which was last week, but the diff's in now as well. That's been, as you can see, braced as well, because he will be going turbo at some point on this, but it's all been braced. Drive shafts are in. We use the poly bushes on the diff. Rear uprights in. Everything's new bearings, etc. on there. All new rear Protect shocks. Braided hoses are in. Back panels trial fitted and ready to secure and fit in now, because we're pretty much done with the back end. We need to do all the wirings in, brake lines, fuel lines all in. So the back panel, they're in powder coated black to match everything. The side panels, the interior panels will be done as well. And then on the front, we've got the corners here, all new hubs and upright bits here. This is having a wheelwood, so this is the brake for the bracket for the wheelwood caliper. They're on ready to mount the calipers. We've just got discs. They should be hitting the door on Monday, ready for new discs that will go on for the wheelwood conversion. So what you saw on our car there is what's going on these. They're now anodised in black rather than silver. So that is exactly the same format on the R1 MC as this. So cracking on with this, a few bits to do, and then once that front end's done, radiator's already in stock, ready to bolt on next week, so we'll have the radiator on. But first job is engine in. So that's ready to go. So we put the sump on that last week. We showed you we chopped it. That should be hitting in on Monday. So that's all ready to go. Plenum's off, but sump's all bonded on now. We're just waiting for that to cure off. So the chopped sump's on. It's got the turbo return oil feed on that as well. So that engine, we'll make that, the brand new clutch, we'll make that to the gearbox. That bad boy you'll see venturing into the engine bay next week as well. So some people have asked about details on that, painting etc. We'll go through that another day for you actually. But yeah, if you're interested in that, we might put a thing up. You're interested in what we use and how we do some of the detailing, we'll do a little spread on that. And then we had another question. Radiator brackets on Indy Classic. Well, I've got a radiator here. We do these in, as you can see, different sizes. Here we go. Standard different fitments. So we've got going up from a 42 up to 55 and then up to 70mm core. And then on the Classic chassis. So not many people have, so Classic chassis didn't have brackets. Now all our cars now come as standard with the radiator brackets fitted on. And you can go from a 42 to a 70mm core rad. But the Classic, what we done on this one before we stripped it, the customer brought it in, we welded on these brackets. So you can see there's 4 brackets here that we've welded on in this position to allow us to fit our radiator into and on the chassis.
So what's unique about those brackets? Are they all the same?
No, every single one is different, unfortunately. They're slightly different in size. The top 2 are the same, but the left and right, or driver and near side, are different. They're different lengths. We have to offset, really, to get this pipework, this bottom pipework inside the chassis there. So you can see, to get that bottom pipe to clear the chassis rail, it has to sit slightly offset centre. So if you look at this part and look at this part, there is a gap. You cannot get that in centre there. That would be centre, so it's offset by about 40 mil, something like that, from there. And that sits on like that. Whereas our one, as you can see, sits dead square in centre. But the chassis at the front end of the Classic is completely different to the RX-5. It's all inboard in this area, etc. as well. So these are the sort of 4 brackets that we've made and fabricated just to fit that on. And it won't matter what size radiator, let's say 42 to 70 mil, that makes no difference on the depth side of it. We've got plenty of room for that. It's just really getting these pipes to clear this bottom chassis valve here for our sort of standard fitment radiator, really. So hopefully that sort of helps you answer a question, really, because I've had a few emails, haven't we, on that one this week, and people asking about the sort of Classic chassis and what we can do and etc. So yeah, that's where we are, cracking on with the builds. Bits to go on, the hubs and all of that start to go on today, carry on, you know, parts being bolted on all the 3 of the builds at the same time. The other one's gone off to have its exhaust sorted. We're doing a standard exhaust system. So on the Mazda, where we do the standard exhaust system, which is we're trying to keep the standard manifold, what we're doing now is developing a full stainless steel system that will go on there. So you'll have that option available to you as well. And it will be for left-hand drive cars as well. So we're getting all that done at the same time, just to make a nice shiny exhaust system as well. I know you like shiny bits. I know you like bolting on shiny bits. So yeah, that's kind of where we've been this week, guys. I don't know where the week's gone. Don't know where October's going. It's flying by. It's flying by. So workshop's gradually getting sorted, so we're getting back to some kind of normality. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the builds, and then find the questions in. If you're talking about radiators or how you do that, find the questions in. If we can answer or help you with your builds, that's what we're here for, chaps. So good. Enjoy that. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Enjoy the Formula 1. Like, share, you know where we are. Catch you next week.